The snowstorm had swallowed the entire valley, turning the alien sky into a white blur. Frosted winds screamed through the skeletal remains of a once thriving forest, scattering shards of ice like shattered glass. Lyra knelt in the snow, her trembling hands wrapped around the small, dying creature in her arms. Its translucent fur glowed faintly blue, pulsing with a weak rhythm that was fading, just like its life. "Sure, Neve," she whispered, her voice breaking through the howling wind. "Stay with me, please." Neve, the little frost beast she had raised from an egg, let out a soft chirr, its breath forming a thin mist before vanishing into the cold air. Its large silver eyes blinked once, trying to focus on her. Lyra's silver hair clung to her face, streaked with ice. She pressed her forehead against its soft fur, feeling the fading warmth beneath. She had tried everything. Heated wraps, biothermals, even the last vial of plasma she'd saved, but nothing worked. The radiation storm that had swept through the valley 3 days ago had poisoned the air. The creatures of her world couldn't survive it for long. Her own lungs burned with every breath. She looked to the horizon, a sea of frozen mist, endless and cruel. Her people had fled to the underground shelters weeks ago. Lyra had stayed behind for Neve. And now it seemed she had stayed for nothing. A sob escaped her lips, carried away by the wind. Then, through the storm's wail, came a sound she couldn't place. A mechanical hum, low, foreign, and steady. Her eyes widened. That wasn't the sound of anything native to this world. It was smoother, warmer. She rose slowly, shielding Neve with her body, and squinted into the white void. A faint orange glow approached, cutting through the storm like a flame. Moments later, a figure emerged, tall and wrapped in layers of strange metallic fabric. The helmet was glass-like, and behind it she could see a face, not like hers but similar enough. Human. "Hey!" the figure shouted, voice muffled by the wind. "Are you alive?" Lyra stared, frozen between fear and disbelief. She had heard rumors of off-worlders, travelers from distant stars. She never believed she would meet one. The human trudged closer, the light from his chest panel illuminating the snow around them. "You're freezing out here," he said, kneeling. His eyes flicked to the creature in her arms. "What is that?" Lyra swallowed, clutching Neve protectively. "He's dying," she said, her words thick with emotion. "The storm, he can't breathe." The human glanced at the creature, his expression softening. "I might be able to help. I've got medgel in my pack. It's designed for bioorganic tissue. Might stabilize him." She didn't know what medgel was, but hope lit in her chest like a flicker of flame. "Please," she whispered. "Try." He pulled a small cylinder from his pack and knelt beside her. The gel he spread over Neve's fur glowed faintly green, hissing as it met the creature's skin. The light from Neve's body dimmed, then, miraculously, strengthened. Lyra gasped. "It's working." The human smiled beneath his helmet. "Just a temporary fix. We need to get you both somewhere safe." Lyra hesitated. She had no reason to trust him, but the storm was worsening and Neve's glow, though stronger, was still fragile. She nodded. He lifted his wrist and pressed a button. From the mist, a sleek metal pod hummed forward, hovering a few inches above the snow. The human guided her inside. Warmth wrapped around her instantly, making her dizzy. Lyra held Neve close as the pod rose into the sky, breaking free from the blizzard. For the first time in days, she could see the stars, bright, endless, and strange. "Name's Ethan," he said, removing his helmet. His eyes were a deep brown, filled with quiet curiosity. You're not like the others we've seen here. Lyra tilted her head. Others? Yeah, he replied. Our survey scanners picked up signs of intelligent life, but no one answered our transmissions. We thought the planet was abandoned. Lyra looked out the window, her heart heavy. My people hid underground. The surface is poisoned now. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then we need to get you out. There's a medical bay on my ship. If we can keep your friend stable long enough, we might save him. Neve let out a soft trill, and Lyra smiled weakly. His name is Neve. Then let's not let Neve down, Ethan said gently. Hours later, aboard the human starship Aurora, Lyra watched from behind a glass wall as a group of medtechs worked on Neve. Tubes of shimmering liquid pulsed through the creature's veins. Ethan stood beside her. He's responding. Your species must have some shared biochemistry with ours. Lucky break. Lyra turned to him, eyes shimmering. You didn't have to save him. He smiled faintly. Didn't have to, no. But you looked like you'd already lost everything. Sometimes saving one life is reason enough. She studied him for a long moment. Humans are strange, she said softly. Yeah, he chuckled. You'll get used to us. Neve let out a chirp from the medbed, stronger this time. Lyra pressed her hand to the glass, her heart swelling with relief. Outside the viewport, the storm-ravaged planet turned slowly beneath them, its surface still scarred and frozen. Yet above it, in the quiet dark of space, something new bloomed, a fragile connection between two beings who should never have met. Lyra turned to Ethan, her voice soft but resolute. When he's better, will you help me find my people? Maybe we can save more of them. Ethan nodded. Count me in. And as the stars drifted by, the girl who once knelt alone in the snow found herself standing beside a stranger from another world. No longer alone, no longer hopeless, ready to begin again. Hours later, aboard the Aurora, Lyra sat in the softly glowing medbay, her gaze fixed on the small form lying within the containment cradle. Neve's fur now shimmered faintly under the healing lights, each pulse stronger than the last. The rhythmic hum of the machines became a lullaby of hope, steady, alive. Ethan stood beside her, his jacket half-zipped, eyes tired but kind. He's stabilizing, he said quietly. Another few hours and he'll breathe on his own. Lyra exhaled shakily, a tear slipping down her cheek. I thought I lost him. I thought I lost everything. Ethan smiled faintly. You held on longer than most people ever would. That means something. For the first time in weeks, she let herself smile back. The sterile air around them seemed to warm. Your people, why did you come here? She asked softly. He looked out the viewport, where her frozen planet spun below. To look for life. To prove we weren't alone. Lyra followed his gaze, her fingers brushing the glass. You found it, she whispered. A churring sound interrupted her. Neve's eyes blinked open, brighter, curious, alive. The tiny creature let out a soft coo, reaching its paw toward her. Lyra laughed through her tears, gathering him gently into her arms. You made it, Neve, you made it. Ethan watched, the ghost of a smile touching his lips. Guess I showed up at the right time. Lyra looked at him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. No, she said softly. You changed everything. Outside, the storm-ravaged world slowly turned beneath them, but in that quiet chamber of light and warmth, something new had been born. Not just survival but connection. Two worlds, one fragile moment. And the beginning of hope.